Alrighty then. Good evening, everyone. Or would it be morning? Probably evening.
I think it's like
Somewhere around
morning
there.
time.
Yeah, typically it's morning time.
Technically,
Anyways,
it's
hello,
afternoon.
peoples. Yeah, afternoons for some, mornings for some. You know what I mean. Anyways, hello, everyone. I'm Aqua. This
She
is
opens her
Elvish.
mouth when I sniffle.
Oh my gosh, that's great. We are professional podcasters, everyone. This is Nightcore Narrative, and we're bringing to you some spoopiness. However, we're started off with a bang. More to come. Anyways, Elvish, how are you doing today?
Oh, I am here. I am kind of sick. I do not feel the best, but it is Spooptimber. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love everything and anything spoopiness. So, I am
In
here.
preparation for Spooktober as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
So, I'm going to sound nasally and it's fine.
it's fine.
We'll pretend.
Yeah, just pretend, guys. It's fine. It's not like it's not like Elvish was sick and then got me sick a little bit. So not like
Facts.
nothing like that at all.
Facts. So, okay, funny story before we move on.
Yeah.
This particular book we weren't able to find on audiobook for Aqua, so he had to actually borrow my book. Mind you, I was sick while I was reading the book. I didn't think about it, so I gave him the book to read, and now he has the snifflies.
She totally planned it. She was like
Might
coughing
be.
all over the book. I'm over here trying to read the book, smell the book, feel the book, be a part. Like I don't know if you can hear it through my microphone, but I'm like trilling the pages of the book, and I haven't read a book in a while. All right, I read manuals maybe when I need to
No.
build something from IKEA, but I don't know that's Swedish magic. That's besides the point. Anyways, moving on, and totally not just spraying more of Elvish's sickness in my face after I just
I
fanned
feel like you're
myself with
just
the
being
book.
dramatic at this point.
I am dramatic. I am the drama.
Well,
Anyways,
what do we have
speaking of
today?
dramas, well, we're starting off with our first for the first
With the
first
first,
the
we
first.
start with the
This-
first.
It is not even the right book for me to have that sort of speech impediment. More to that later on the next episode. You'll love it. It's great. I pre-practiced this, apparently. But no, this is just me naturally. Anyways, the first book, see, did it correct this time, is called Scream for Us by Molly Doyle. Now, I'll be honest, it was not too bad of a book. Really, really weird. Kind of
Facts.
more of like a sensual thrill ride with some extra stuff that I'll be honest, like, that escalated pretty quickly.
Yeah, it escalated a little bit too quickly for my liking. But, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird because the very beginning of the book, I personally feel. I mean, I feel bad for saying this, but the beginning of the book, I feel like the writing was so very mediocre.
Yeah.
It was
I mean, it had some
very.
decent details, though, to be
It
honest.
did. I just feel like it was very middle school trying to be grown. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But ultimately, I actually liked the book. I mean, I only personally gave it like a 2 out of 5, but I actually really enjoyed the book. I kind of like the vibe it gave off.
Wow, you actually gave the rating early.
I did.
Oh, that would be
I did.
that's first.
It is.
I think that's a first. It probably is not. Probably is.
No,
Probably
it
isn't.
actually,
Anyways,
yeah.
Comments tell us if I'm correct or incorrect. You know what to do.
So, with this book, though, I mean, one of the things I kind of wish, I understand that this is a quick 100-page book. It's just a get in, get out type thing, quite literally. But, she mentions, like, past trauma. She mentions, like, bullies. She mentions parents, stuff like that. I wish we could get a full-on serious version of this book just so we can learn a little bit more of this character, because I personally think that would be such a phenomenal read. Like 1000%, I feel like I would love that book.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. And like the whole thing like mediocre writing, I felt like it's more of a ramp up. Like first it went kind of, kind of meh, and then it kind of just went up as things got a little crazier,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
so of course it's a spicy book too. There's a lot of spice in here. And well, at least to me, I guess it's a lot of spice. Most because
No, yeah.
half more than half of this was all about that. And then when it got to the real crazy shit, obviously that's when things really hit the fan. And even then, it still happened. Which
Right.
yeah. And I'll be honest, the ending, I was almost okay. I'm gonna say this probably like twice, but I kind of like saw it coming. Get it?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so I feel like we're kind of like being very vague and like around the bush, and like the viewer who hasn't read this are like, what the fuck are y'all even talking about? Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
Scream
true.
for Us is without, I mean, too many spoilers, but I mean, the whole book is basically this, but a girl goes to a party, she ends up meeting someone in a ghost face
Mhm.
costume. He has two friends, one in a Jason costume, one in a Michael Myers costume, and it's basically an time.
Yeah, pretty much. It's constant or the girl is named the main pro tag is a girl named Quinn, and of course the other ones are just aptly named as their ones that they look like. So Michael is Michael, Jason is Jason, Ghost is
Ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghostface is Ghost. Um, and so pretty much that's all it's about. Just her having a pretty much just going loose. She's going at it. She was having the little voice in her head tell her to go away, but she's like, no, it's time to let loose. And yeah, things escalated quickly.
Right. And Ghost was kind of weird, though, in my opinion. He was very overprotective to the point where if anyone looked at her, pointed at her, touched her, anything, he quite literally either stabbed him,
And
punched
be
the
and
hell
or
out of
beat the
him.
shit out of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a very overprotective thing. And normally, like, people would have that in their head to be like, okay, well, this fucker's weird. Let's get out. It turned her
She did
on more?
not. Yeah, well, no, it did turn. I think it kind of did turn her on, but then she talked about like her trauma of like feeling unsafe because she was bullied when she was younger, and it's because of her parent, her father, had had committed something to unsubscribe from life.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she was bullied by people, by her classmates, that it was her fault.
Right.
She was like hideous or something like that, and pretty much when she went to a party where she met Mr. Ghostface and Michael Myers and Mr. Jason, which by the way I'm telling you now, all were pretty much Greek gods of hotness apparently. So just go
Yeah.
ahead and throwing that out there, but they were there, or like one of the girls who made fun of her was there and all, and so Ghost eventually found out, started to get very protective, things like that, and of course that's when the orgy started to happen. It was all about letting your dark desires out and things like that,
Yeah.
supposedly.
I don't know. Like, and it's kind of like what I mentioned already. It was like very mediocre writing, but it was actually not that bad of a book.
Yeah, it
Like,
wasn't that bad.
it's not necessarily one that I'll be like, okay, well, I have to recommend this to everyone I know, but if someone is wanting a very, very quick dark romance, I mean, it's definitely one to throw in their direction.
Yeah, but it
I
seemed more of a smut book than anything else. To be, at least just
Yeah.
me. It like, is it trying to be a smut book or is it supposed to have death into it? To me, it felt more like a smut book, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. I do have one complaint though, and I don't understand. And now it's not Molly's fault, the author, it's not her fault, because this is just every book that we've semi-read with any type of smut in it. Why is it the only one thing they can ever say is, "Ooh, yes"? You know how many times? Okay, this book is only 100 pages long. It took roughly about an hour to read. I now challenge you guys. I don't condone this, obviously, because harm, but I challenge you guys every time the word yes pops up, take a shot. You'll be shit faced within the first 30 pages.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah, this one was very repetitive. But I mean, given of how the only thing I can think of the reason why that was so repetitive was because it was very clear that Quinn was very closed off and very much of a loner with virtually, I think, no experience whatsoever, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, when things got like a lot crazier and a lot heavier, and I guess when she got used to being with Ghost and Jason and Michael, she started to be a little bit more vocalish, where it's just more like begging and pleading sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, and it just gets so weird. I don't know. I guess that's just me. More because every time I think of romance, I always think of one-on-one. I kind of forget there's more than just that. It's not like I don't forget. I always default to it.
Right.
You know. And then I remember, and then I actually thought at one point in the book where the entire football team came in, I thought that was gonna be part of the whole dark fantasy, to where
Oh
she was
my
just kind of
God.
like choo-choo Charlied. But no, instead they kind of got busted out. So, which is fine. I'm actually was perfectly okay with that. I wasn't here reading about a trade. I'm like, I get it. You know, the smut kind of got boring. It kind of just got weird. I guess it's just my preferences. I guess I don't know.
No, I agree completely. It did get a little weird. It just got
Yeah.
like very repetitive, you know?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, can we get to the smut? I kind of like, it's like, if I miss something on the smut part that's gonna be, important to the story, then I kind of have no choice but to read it. And there was some
Right.
stuff in between, so it's like, I have to go through the smut,
Mm-hmm.
which
Well,
is fine. Some people are there for the smut and then the horror right after.
Well, and then like you actually have to realize, like the viewer watching this, they have to realize, like I've mentioned it 1,000 times before, this book is only 100 pages long. If
Yeah.
you take all the smut out of it, this book is probably only like 5 pages long.
That or a very long-winded essay.
Yeah. So it's not really a lot going on. The part that kind of was like, okay, are we really doing this? If you remember, once she finally went down after the football part that you're talking about, she finally went back down to like the whole party area. Ghost comes
Mhm.
out, stabs the motherfucker, and then she decides to go into the woods with these 3 men as if he didn't just murder
Yeah.
someone.
Well, I mean,
Like,
okay, a little more context. She was dancing like everything was just fine after nearly be put into a train, and of course,
dead.
he saved them, whatever. And then she goes dancing so that those 3 can watch. She is loving the attention, especially from Ghost being a little jelly, because Homeboy was squeezing his fist only because some other drunk guy came, started, touching up on her and not taking no for an answer. And then that's when Ghostface comes up and starts stabbing the dude in the hand over again, trying to cut him up, toss him like what through a screen door or into the back. Either way, lots of violence ensued. Already some violence with the football players, and then why do people like have no common sense? Why would you go with them? Sure, you feel protected, but homegirl, you over here going to a party where it's known for sex. Not to mention you were there for sex in the first place.
Right.
Like you're getting what you're asking for.
Right. There
You
was
know.
actually at the very end there was, okay, so there's only 10 chapters in this book. Chapter
Yeah.
8 was by far the best chapter in this entire book. And that chapter alone is what gave it the 2 stars. I'm going to be so real with you. Chapter 8, we get Ghostface point of view, and he goes around.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
when it starts.
He goes
Mhm.
around and he basically gets all of her bullies and just like fucks them all up.
Murders them.
Yeah.
Or, I'm
Oh.
sorry. Unsubscribe. Forcefully unsubscribe their lives to life. Yeah. Forced
And
unsubscription.
forced unsubscription.
Yes. Forced unsubscribe to the channel of life. And I mean, it's like, okay, all right. There's some action. I'm not here much for like the serial flick, but it gives me nostalgia from like the old movies. You know,
Right.
in the wave I pictured in my head was the film grain, the terrible '80s music that made it so
Yes.
amazing. You know, I got that, and then they went to screwing in
And
the middle of
fire.
it, and I'm like, okay, I get it. You're a really, like,
And
please, I wanted just that, and I was like, okay,
well,
but
and then
seriously, and then, okay, I'm sorry, I'm complaining, but
no,
continue.
well,
I'm
and
sorry.
then well, no, I'm jumping on that complaint bandwagon, and he's over here like as they're like doing the deed, he's over here like, oh my god, the smoke is getting so bad, it's so hard to breathe, but I have to continue. Like what? Like
Yeah,
excuse me?
like homo, I get it. You a freak, but kind of in a burning building because they burned the fucking building, and the other
Right,
two are accomplices, which are perfectly fine because they do this on the regular because they already knew what to do. Of
right,
course, Ghostface, there was some delegation, whatever, but there was only a very minute delegation,
right,
and then the rest was on them. So clearly, it's like, okay, there's some red flags here besides just Ghost committing murder. Okay, bet you would think she would get her head squared on. No, not at all. Just goes with them, completely infatuated with all three of them. More on Ghost. But the other
right.
two are Greek gods, and of course, filled her to the brim more than
Literally.
once.
But
So,
then
and
like
I'm like, oh my god.
well, and then it's kind of like what Aqua mentioned earlier. Like you could tell the ending from a mile away. Obviously, Ghost has been a stalker. He's been watching her every move. He's always where she is, and she never realized it until
Until
the
the
very
last minute.
end. And it's like, oh, okay. And then he does the whole "you're always gonna be mine," and it's like, okay,
And then she goes with him.
yeah. So
Like, come on. One, he
truly,
committed murder. At first, he had a problem with it, and then now it's fine. It's fine.
so truly though, if I'm being so honest, there's way more. That's a lie. There's not way more. Let's be real. There's more that we
There's
can't
not.
say in here because of YouTube purposes, but that's literally the entire book. That's it. The book, if you want to read this book but you don't want any crazy like smut, I would read the first part of chapter 8. You might like it. Other than that, that's all you're going to get. And it's a quick read if you like it. I do believe it's a part of a dark romance. I do believe it's dark romance. But
Something like that. Yeah, I see why it's romance because she gets immediately attached to him just because he's really good at it. But yeah, this is a dark romance, suspense, reverse harem. I hate it when people just say novella. I just
yeah.
hate when people throw that term around. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Hispanic in me. But yeah, there is some content warning. If you want, I could read it. You know what to
Well,
expect.
yeah. And I think, now please forgive me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first book in a series. Because I think the next one, and again, I could misspeak, I think the next one is Melt for Us. So,
Mm. Yeah, that seems like either it's just conveniently named or it's definitely a series.
oh, it's called The Order of the Unseen. Okay, so that's the series name. So, yeah, so
Ah,
this is
this is part of a
definitely a
series.
part of a series. So, if you like this stuff, by all
There you
means,
go.
read it. I personally, okay, now I'm gonna do the consumer part of me because, like, the consumer part of me is kind of upset about it. This book is barely 100 pages long. The book, I, oh, I always feel bad saying this, but the book is mediocrely written. Like, it is kind of bad with grammar and all that, but it's like a $14 book. That book was so dummy expensive for the amount that you get and the quality of the book. So, consumer beware. I would have said this was maybe like an $8 or $9 book, definitely not 14. So it is a little bit on the pricier side.
This feels like a $5 book at most. Not because that's just me. Like I
Yeah.
don't like one is a short book, so I don't see it being $15. I'm not trying to like completely crap on the um not to crap on the author, whatever. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, it's just I don't see it being $15.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Well,
it
that's
makes
one of
no
my
sense.
biggest complaints because with how expensive it was, I thought we were going to get not necessarily more because buying it, I understood that it was only going to be about 100 pages. I understood that. I knew that going into that. We knew it going into that. I got it. But I felt as if we were going to get a little bit more,
Content
not
besides Smut.
content. It like chapter 2, for example, is the first time that we hear this man attempt to, I guess, quote unquote, talk sexy. It sounds like a child cussing for the very first time, trying to like make sure his mommy doesn't hear him. And it was very uncomfortable in a sense of like, it doesn't seem like something that a man would actually say, for one. It doesn't seem like something that would ever be said during an intimate moment, for two. And it doesn't feel like something that would be considered sexy from whomever they're with, for three. So it was just a very uncomfortable, like, the verbiage used throughout the book was very teen, but with
Yeah,
adult content. Does that make sense?
yeah,
But once again, I'm not shitting on the author. I really, really like the ghost face point of view. Fantastic. I loved it. And the kind of background we get for the main character, perfect. Loved it. If we get a serious version of the book, I actually would read it. I would give it a chance. But for the book that we have, it, I can't recommend it, but I don't not recommend it. It's just kind of like it's a book.
yeah. It's just, I mean, I'm pretty much on the exact same boat.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, consumer wise, not $15. $5
Right.
is a stretch. Now, is it definitely viable if someone else bought the book and you borrowed from it? Most definitely.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is one of the most difficult videos that we've made yet if you've seen our other videos because have nothing else to say. That's quite literally all we have. That's the book.
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much it. So,
Well,
that's all we got.
that's it. I'm sorry. If you loved this book, please don't get sensitive and butthurt. We're not shitting on it, but we're not praising it.
We aren't. We aren't.
Right.
You know.
So if you want to read this book,
Go for it.
by all means. If you did love this book, please comment down below and tell us why you liked it, what your favorite part was, all that good stuff, because I'm very interested. So,
And feel free to give us your point of view. I mean, this is just our point of view and things like that. This is just, what we believe and what we felt. Everyone's gonna feel something different.
right.
And so smut, meh. Kind of the story wise, all right. Kind of the end, like, I kind of saw it coming. Kind of saw it coming.
Yeah.
It's just it was too weird how protected he was. Is like so attached to her so quickly. And it's just
Uncomfortable. That's the only word I can
uncomfortably
use. Just uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it makes sense when it comes to chapter 8. Did all of the murders, clear as a serial killer. So
Yeah. But yeah, that is Scream for Us by Molly Doyle.
yep. Well, that was great.
That was.
Very short video this time, but hey, there's still more to come. So stay tuned. And I'm Aqua.
I am Elvish. Hold on, you get
And
one more.
it's-
Hold on, you get one more sniffle. Okay.
There you go. There's the sniffle. And this is Night Court Narrative. All things bookish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still having support coffee right now. This is great.
Bro, I have nothing. Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Good night. Good morning.